Good evening. Welcome. It's Speak a Little French here at Phoenix at Big Tree Harare. And our work is done. And now I'm just going to continue doing the odd vlog, video blog, uploading videos to the internet as I see fit, as I am equipped, and as I feel like doing a bit of online work. So, yes, it is me, Speak a Little French, also known as Makanaka, here at Big Tree Harare. And it's a May, what is it? Early May evening. It's getting a bit colder here as winter is setting in. It gets pretty cold in the winter in the evenings. And I've just been through 2 months of recovering from a broken foot. I broke a bone in my foot and was missing the step, and I've had to recover from it using crutches and just being careful of my walking. I've been walking for about 2 weeks now, and so it's been a healing process, and I've had to become conscious of my body in a very real way, and the limitations of the body, and yeah. Otherwise, I'm fine. I'm doing very well. Give you a big smile. Yeah, for sure. Anyway, just stopping in YouTube. I'm a talkative fellow, as you probably realize by now. And it's interesting because these videos are actually selfies. I've been doing selfie videos. I'm taking the video myself, which is very obscure, but it's still interesting because it all comes from me. And I upload them myself. I process the videos myself. And so Speak a Little French is actually online. And we're here at Phoenix at Big Tree Harare. Phoenix is an area of garden that is untouched. It's beautiful African bushveld. We're here in the depths of Africa, in Harare, Zimbabwe, Southern Africa. And we had the opportunity last night to watch Becoming, a Netflix documentary about Michelle Obama and her book called Becoming, which I haven't yet read, but I intend to do so. And it reminded me that Barack also has written a book, or a number of books. I don't know. He's written a book or so that also deserves a read. So that is catching up with our White House history. We're looking over towards the White House there, the White House of Big Tree Harare, for sure. And that's the Obamas, Sasha, and I can't remember. Yeah, I'm a funny man for sure. Native American by trade. We can't do everything, Mr. President. Yeah. Anyway, how's the White House doing today, Washington, D.C.? Stephanie Grisham, press secretary, press office at the White House. Speak a Little French, clocking in here from Phoenix at Big Tree Harare. And Phoenix gets its name from a kind old soul called Milton H. Erickson. Milton H. Erickson was the founder of medical hypnosis and modern hypnosis. And I came across him via my first long-term relationship with a lady who was a hypnotist and therapist, and she taught me the ins and outs of doing counseling and therapy, and an insight into hypnosis, which I use to this day. I'm not actually doing hypnosis now, I'm just having a conversation. But there is such a thing as conversational hypnosis. And I have at Phoenix here an empty chair. And I use my empty chair at Phoenix, at Big Tree Harare, to do conversational hypnosis. And you can call my YouTube channel a hypnotic channel. If you know about Africa, you will know what we're talking about with hypnosis. Africa is a loaded word. It is a hypnotic word. And we must be careful of the same thing with America, where Milton H. Erickson was living at Phoenix, Arizona. And that's where we get the name Phoenix at Big Tree Harare from. The empty chair technique in counseling and psychotherapy and hypnosis. And we have beautiful birds in the trees, and we have beautiful trees. And tell you something, Big Tree Harare got its name because of a big tree I look out my window at. And it's a eucalyptus tree down on the main road, quite a distance from the house, and there is actually some history to it because we had some enormous trees. I don't know whether they were mahogany or they were some sort of big tree. And they were taken out because the roots were possibly going to start affecting the foundations of the buildings, and so these huge trees had to be chopped down, and we miss them. And that's when I got the idea for pinpointing a point of advertising for tourism in Africa, tourism in Southern Africa, and that sort of thing. And I thought of we need a base camp for our Zimbabwe national parks, and that's when I thought of advertising Big Tree, because the Big Tree at Victoria Falls, I think, is a baobab, and it deserves to have some attention. And I thought let's set up a Big Tree Harare, and we had the resources. It just took the work, and I was prepared to put in the work myself, and so that's what I did. And now we have Big Tree Harare, and people know that the Big Tree at Victoria Falls is something that is recognized as a tourist attraction, and people can go and visit it. I don't know exactly where it is on the map, but I'll have to have a look. And yeah, so there were some big trees here, and we miss those big trees, but we still have planted more trees since then, and so there's a tree planting that does happen here, and yeah, the trees are part of the property and the household, and we appreciate them. And that's where I thought, well, let's pinpoint the fact that we have to say goodbye to some trees and say hello to some other trees. And that's why we have Big Tree Harare. And subsequently, I've also discovered that there's a big tree, a so-called big tree in Chirinda Forest, which is somewhere near Chipinge in the eastern highlands of Zimbabwe. So that introduces you to what we're talking about, a big tree, and what we thought of advertising for tourism and ecology, environmental affairs, and that sort of thing. So that's what we at Big Tree reach out to the Zimbabwean community as well. We're interested in reaching out to the Zimbabwean community, and we're interested in tackling environmental issues and ecological issues of pertinence in today's world. So anyway, where it ties in is with medical hypnosis, because I have been through my time being a therapist and being a counselor and being a hypnotist in some way. And I've been through my time as a patient of mental health disability, what they call mental illness. But I don't like to use the word mental illness. I prefer to use the word mental health disability, because that's what it really is. But it doesn't make me any less intelligent. It just gives me a boundary, like technology gives me a boundary in that sense. I can so-called pass on my message via the telephone or the computer, and I don't actually have to meet face-to-face with the whole world. I can do so through my YouTube channel, and Speak a Little French is my official standing in the world. Anyway, the diagnosis that I was diagnosed with by one therapist was schizophrenia, by another therapist was by another doctor, should I say, was schizoaffective disorder, and they've subsequently said they don't know what it is. But sitting just a few meters away from here, at Phoenix at Big Tree Harare, take the clock back to September the 11th, 2010, at Phoenix at Big Tree Harare, and out of nowhere came this voice that spoke through me, and it has been with me to this day, and it still speaks through me. I have a secondary voice that isn't actually me, but it's a response I get in my actual body, a voice talking through me. And it's been with me since September the 11th, 2010. It came through on that date, and I know that. Just a few meters away here. And I'll give you some experience of what that's like, so you understand what I'm talking about when I say I've got mental health disability. Yeah, I see what you mean. I don't know that. Yeah, no. Who are you? No problem. Can't swear? No problem. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, for sure. What you're saying there? I see what you mean. That is the secondary voice that we've got on this, in this physical body. Jonathan Enwakeling, also known as Speak a Little French, also known as Makanaka. Yeah. So those are the two voices that we have here. And it's worth dwelling on that very fact when we come across to Speak a Little French, because Jonathan has his say in that matter. But I agree, I am a Native American US soldier, and we've got this far on the path. And I'm very pleased to meet you. And we must recognize, Jonathan, historically, but when we look to the future, we look to Speak a Little French for helping us with the greater, wider world as a Native American US soldier. So that introduces you to the, on the one hand, mental health disability, and on the other, hypnotic value. Because any name like a president or a pauper has a hypnotic value. I'm someone who has lived on the streets. I'm someone who has never had any money. And I have to pause the video there. Hi, I'm back again. Speak a Little French, also known as Makanaka. I was interrupted by someone watering the garden, and I needed some privacy to do the video, so I came over to Cape Canaveral over here. And so we're continuing at Cape Canaveral at Big Tree Harare. And yes, I used to be called Jonathan Enwakeling. That is my birth name. But I've subsequently chosen to take on a Native American name, Speak a Little French, also known as Makanaka. So you can call me Makanaka or Jonathan, but I prefer to be called Makanaka these days, because that is my new name. Since these voices came, and I was on September the 11th, 2010, when these voices started to disturb me, I, I took on a persona, and that developed into Speak a Little French, who you're talking to now, at Cape Canaveral, at Big Tree Harare. Anyway, I just wanted to do this video so that you get to know me a bit more, get to know my smiles, and get to know that I'm a real person with real needs for community, as in the Big Tree Harare and the Zimbabwean community, and someone who's concerned about the world in all sorts of ways. And yeah, I'm a real person, and I have an interesting life that I lead, and it is a wonderful day here in Zimbabwe. We're very pleased to have blue skies and sparkling stars at night, as we discuss at the National Aeronautics and Space Administration of the United States of America here at Big Tree Harare. So Cape Canaveral, Houston, clocking off Phoenix, over and out Houston. Good evening from Big Tree Harare, myself, Makanaka, also known as Speak a Little French. Good evening, and good evening, good night. Good night and good luck, YouTube.